Third round. Hi, chicos. It's me, Dr. Guerrero, again. Now we are going to complete the third part. Third part and fourth part are connected. They are asking questions. One of the communicative goals of the intermediate level that needs to be exposed and presented and introduced at the elementary level, because when you reach the intermediate level, if you guys will need to be familiar and comfortable and at ease asking questions. So let me start sharing my screen for you. Learning objective is at the end of this session, students will be able to ask and respond to simple questions. So we're gonna learn how to handle, what to do when asking questions in Spanish. First piece is yes, no questions. Those questions where the answer is sí or no. And then we're gonna also work on negation. See, so let's start working on yes, no questions. As I said, yes, no questions are those type of questions that request a yes or a no in the responses, that match them. So sí or no when you ask a yes, no question. See? What happens in that case is that we have to play not only with the beginning and ending question marks, as you see here. In Spanish, you have a beginning question mark and an ending question mark. A question is a question from the beginning until the end, and the question mark shows that. In written format, no problem. You identify, because of those two question marks, you identify that is a question. But how do you deal with the speaking part? The oral part, when you how can you make visible or understand the other, making the other person understand that you are asking a question? Let's work on that. We work on every single language on something that is called intonation. Okay, so we are gonna be paying attention to these pieces. Let me grab the marker here, and I'm gonna work on these sentences. See? And actually this one too. Let's work on this one, taran, and this one, taran. Those two. In written format, you have the same first word, Picasso and Picasso. Second word es, de, and Malaga, Malaga. We have the same set of 4 words. The only difference in written format is the question mark. You see the question mark here and the question mark here, which is absent there. How do you show the question, the intonation? How do you, using the intonation, how do you differentiate between a question and a statement? Well, let's pay attention to this raising intonation. Okay, so if I say Picasso es de Málaga, my intonation is flat. So, Picasso es de Málaga. Even if I say it in English, Picasso is from Málaga. No, it's a flat, it's a statement. It's not, you guys know that it's not a question. But if I change my intonation and say, Picasso es de Málaga, Picasso es de Málaga, then you identify that what I'm doing is asking a question in that case. So raising intonation helps you identify in oral form what the question marks let you identify in written format. So try to practice this with me. Picasso es de Málaga, statement. Now let's make it a question. Picasso es de Málaga, and in that piece you have a question. See, you have a question. You can say, nosotros somos de Cleveland. Nosotros somos de Cleveland, Tennessee. But if you say, nosotros somos de Cleveland, Tennessee, you raise the intonation at the end, and then you say, you know that the second version of my ideas that I was communicating, the plus one was a question because of the raising intonation. Now, there are other ways to make a statement into a question. Let's work on the first one is intonation, raising intonation with a statement, changing the intonation to raising intonation at the end. That's one form to make it into a question. Second one is inversion. If you see here, this one compared to the statement, we see that Picasso takes second place and the verb goes to first position. See? That's inversion. So, ¿es Picasso de Málaga? The raising intonation continues, okay? Es Picasso de Málaga. In that way, you have inversion reinforced by intonation. Intonation is a key factor there. Okay. So we can do intonation only, inversion plus intonation. And the third way to do it is something that you guys have in English, and it's called tag question. You are from Cleveland, aren't you? That aren't you is what we are addressing now. It's called tag question. Let's see the Spanish version, okay? So here we have two. We don't use, since Spanish doesn't have auxiliaries because the word carries all that content, tense and person, we don't need auxiliaries. So Spanish verbs are strong enough. So in the tag question in English, you use the auxiliary of the corresponding verb and tense of your statement or yes, statement. But since Spanish doesn't have those auxiliaries, we do something different. We have some terms and some expressions that are going to help us convey the idea of those tag questions. And here we have, Rafael Nadal es de Mallorca. No, I'm not denying. This is not a negative sentence. This is a tag question in which we use the word no, but that no is with raising intonation, and it becomes a question. It transforms the whole thing. It questions the whole information that I just provided in my statement. Rafael Nadal es de Mallorca, no? Or we have the word verdad. Really? See, verdad. So Penélope Cruz es de Madrid, verdad? Verdad? See? So we use the word verdad and one that you guys already know. Let me copy there. The word cierto. Let me erase. Erase everything. Okay. So the word cierto applies here too. It's so difficult to write with the mouse, okay? And yes, beginning question mark is missing there. So we have no, we have verdad, and we have cierto. So you say, tú eres de Cleveland, ¿no? Tú eres de Cleveland, ¿no? Or you can say, tú eres de Cleveland, ¿verdad? Tú eres de Cleveland, ¿verdad? Or you can say the same idea, tú eres de Cleveland, ¿cierto? Raising intonation for that, cierto, no, verdad. Okay, so those. There we have the three ways to ask yes/no questions: a written form versus orally. See, so in the written form we have beginning and ending question marks, but in question it has to show. If you continue flattening in your intonation, it will be just a statement. But if you raise the intonation, you change it to a question, a yes/no question. If you continue with that raising intonation and make an inversion, then you have there a yes/no question. Or if you use a tag question, no, cierto, verdad, there you have, and combined with intonation, then you have there a yes/no question. The second piece I wanted to talk to you about is important to control the filter of English, is negation, how to express negative ideas. Pay attention here because Spanish and English have kind of like a divorce there. ¿Es un libro interesante? No, no es muy interesante. Look at these images. ¿Sí? ¿Es un libro interesante? Raising intonation. ¿Es un libro interesante? And then the other one answers, no. No es muy interesante. I guess you're wondering why we have two no's, okay? The first no just answers the question, es un libro muy interesante, see? So that says, no. He could have stopped there. No responds to the question. Now, he complements the information by saying, no es muy interesante. This second no is making the verb negative. It's affecting, the second no is affecting the verb, okay? So look at the position. In English, let's go here to this part. Juan is not from Portugal. No goes after the verb is, while in Spanish is the opposite. Juan no es de Portugal. This is talking again about what I already mentioned. The first no answer in the question, the second comma, and then the second no modifying the verb in the sentence. And that's how you guys ask yes/no questions. Okay, chicos, this is video number 3 on yes/no questions. Bye-bye.